Righty-ho, something pretty big happened between last month's patch notes video and now. I released Bob Ross Sliding Paintings Museum on Bob's birthday, October 29th. If you didn't see that, feel free to check out the game on GameJolt. It's a sliding puzzle game with Bob's paintings, which I made in honor of him. It's also open source and made with the Godot engine, so you can take a look at the project, which is hosted on GitLab if you're into Godot. In Notemon news, I spend most of the month making all the moves for all the Notemon, debugging them, rebalancing them, and making some new effects and sounds. That took absolutely bloody ages, but I feel like it was one of the major things keeping Notemon from feeling like a full game, so I'm glad to have it done. I'll still need to rebalance the moves a lot more once I get some people to playtest the game, of course. I also implemented the axe, hatchet, machete item. I'm not quite sure what I'll end up calling it. Suggestions are welcome in the comments. Anyway, this item will allow you to cut through little bushes blocking the way to certain areas of the game. It felt natural for the player to get wood and fiber from cutting these down too, and since they respawn, there's now a way to get all the wood and fiber you want without beating up innocent wild Notemon. In theme with making things feel natural, I removed the Notemon Essence build requirement from the barn. It felt totally out of place and really didn't make sense. Barn rooms are now built simply from regular materials. In my spare time, I've remembered my love of low-level game development, so I've been practicing coding in C++, watching Handmade Hero and stuff like that. My next big game project will definitely be made from scratch in that style, and I'm really looking forward to it. Relating to that, I launched the blog section of my website, croakinketo.com. Currently, you can see the first Croakinketo newsletter and my Pico 8 binary save system article. You might also notice a section for tutorials. I'm working on making C++ game programming tutorials. I've always loved making tutorials, and it's hard to find ones for making games from the ground up on Linux. Using XCB for the window and events, Pulse Audio for sound, and all that. The documentation for those and other open source libraries is absolutely horrendous, and tutorials hardly exist, so I think mine will be pretty useful to people. At first I thought that me making tutorials would be a case of the blind leading the blind, and I should wait until I'm a successful game developer before telling other people how to do it. Then I realized that, just like game development, I need practice making tutorials, so there's no reason not to give it a go. Also, by putting tutorials out there, I can receive criticism on my code, which will help me improve as a programmer too. That's it for this month's Patch Notes video. If you played my Bob Ross game, I'd love to hear if you had a good time. And if you're interested in some low-level game development tutorials, I'd be glad to hear about that as well. Cheers!